All right. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of More Perfect Marketing, the live cast version. David Baer here, and today I'm flying solo. I have no colleagues to interview, and so I'm going to talk a little bit today about something that is a motif in the world in which I operate. Um, you may or may not know this about me, but uh, I, s- I, I spent a lot of time in the wine industry. It's what brought me from New York, where I grew up, and originally worked out here to Portland, Oregon, to get involved in the local wine industry here. And I was a marketer in that industry. And several years ago, it's actually a decade now. I got introduced to a guy who runs wine tours for people visiting the area or people celebrating an occasion or whatever, or people just want to go out to wine country. And I got hooked up with him, and I got invited to become one of his tour guides. And it is probably the single most fun activity I engage in on a regular basis. I bring people to a fun, interesting, exciting environment, and I introduce them to something that I'm very interested and excited about, and the enthusiasm hopefully gets relayed from me to them. That's the idea, at least. Along the way, I have a lot of people who know a lot about wine. I have a lot of people who know nothing about wine. But inevitably, there are questions. And the questions typically are something like, when do you pick? Or, how many barrels do you use? Or how long does something stay in barrel? And the answer that I give, and the answer that I warn them I'm going to give pretty much for every question along those lines that they ask, is going to start with the phrase, well, it depends. And then I will launch into some discussion about all of the variations and variables, right? We don't want all the wines to be exactly the same, right? They can't be. They're grown in different places, different climates. Anyway, this isn't about wine. This is about marketing. And the point is that very same phrase, it depends, is really the start to pretty much any discussion about marketing. The point is that marketing and business growth, revenue growth, should not be a one size fits all endeavor. And so many businesses really don't approach it that way. Instead, they look at it and go, okay, well, I see my neighbor doing this, or my kid does this on TikTok, and so I'm going to do that too because he's getting a lot of benefit, etc. Right? And they proceed to waste a lot of time, a lot of money on things that were never going to work because of the assumption that it's a one size fits all, right? All I need to do is plug into this marketing thing that works for somebody else or is just being sold, right? And therefore the assumption is it's going to work. There's not even consideration of evidence or proof that things work sometimes. And businesses are engaging in marketing activity without any recognition of what their goals are, right? What are they trying to achieve with this marketing endeavor? Are they trying to get new customers, clients, patients? Are they trying to increase revenue? What are those targets that they're trying to hit, right? What resources and strategies do they already have in place? Do they work? Do they not work? Have they analyzed why they're working or they're not working? What metrics are defining their success? Right? What are they actually looking at to determine this was something that was worth engaging in, or this is something that we should not have done? Right? What are the numbers that are telling them this is good, this is bad? Are those the right numbers? What kinds of um, people are in the audience they're trying to reach? Are they the right people? Right? These are things that curiously are often omitted from any discussion of how to market a business. In fact, I was talking to a guy at a networking event for business owners maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we were talking about the importance of thinking strategically and putting systems and process in place so that he's not wasting money. And ironically, he then says to me, "Hey, this sounds like a really good idea. So I think I'm going to be calling you in a few months. But really, first, what I want to do is just start running some ads and get my name out there." which was the total opposite of what we had just been talking about in terms of what he should be doing. Because getting his name out there was never going to be thought out. Here, I said, "Oh, cool. Well, tell me about those ads. What are they trying to accomplish?" Well, I just want people to know we exist. Which people? Well, I want the general public to know we exist. Of course, he wasn't selling to the general public. He was selling to a certain industry, to somebody who buys in that industry, right? Somebody who would be looking for his service. And yet, this guy, even though we had just had a discussion about the importance of dialing things in and being very intentional about where you show up, planning, he said, that sounds great. I love the idea. I want to do that. First, I want to just get my name out there. And for those of you who are listening and not watching, that was in air quotes, because it's a ridiculous idea if you don't have clarity around where you actually want to be showing up, in front of whom, and for what purpose. All right. Let's shift a little bit, because we should be talking about some very simple, clear objectives when it comes to the marketing that you are doing, the promotion of your business that you're doing. And one of the first things is figuring out what you're trying to accomplish, right? Are you trying to get more customers, clients, patients, donors, whatever it is that you're doing in your organization? Are you looking for more people? Are you looking for more sales slash revenue, right? And if those are the things that you're, sort of considering, right, the more people versus revenue, right, there's two different ways to approach that, right? You may have an existing crowd of buyers already. Could you increase your revenue by increasing the value of each of those individuals who are already committed to supporting your business, right? That's one way to do it, especially if you're looking at this as, I need more customers, I need more people to buy from me, without thinking about whether you have the capacity in your business to support them. This is something we've seen several times in the work that we've done with the clients we've supported. We've had people who thought, I just need more customers. And yet their salesperson didn't have the capacity to take more meetings, and their team didn't have the capacity to support those potential sales because they were near capacity in terms of what they could support. And that then meant that they'd have to hire more people, train those people before they were going to be in a place to support the next wave of new customers. But what they really wanted wasn't new customers. They just wanted to bring more money into the business. So thinking about marketing, right? We always think more customers, new customers. And yet we don't think about marketing is really a potential connection to revenue. And how do we drive more revenue? Well, we simply invest in the best way, right, to get to that number, right? It may not be advertising to get new customers, clients, patients, donors, etc., right? Look at the different things that you're selling in your business. Some of them are probably more profitable than others. Some of them are probably going to bring in a higher margin for you, cost you less in terms of equipment, in terms of labor, in terms of what time, whatever. Are you highlighting those? Those are the things that maybe you want to emphasize in terms of bringing more revenue into the business. Focus on the things that you make more money from, right? That's another way to be looking at this. Okay. There's another consideration here. Where are these new customers coming from? Where are these new sales coming from? There's a bunch of different places you can be acquiring new customers. Now, you could acquire new sales, as I said earlier. You could acquire new sales from your existing customers, more money in the business. and you don't have to get new customers, right? But of course, there's attrition. You're going to lose customers and the revenue over time. So you do need to replace them. But think about, what could you put in place in your business to keep those existing customers longer, keep them coming back more frequently, get them spending more money. Well, if there's a natural attrition, how could you work against that? How could you counterattack that so that you're actually increasing the overall value of the existing customer? That's the first thing I would think about, right? Because that's going to be a lot easier than introducing somebody brand new into your business. Now, the second thing is, where are they coming from? Where are the new people coming from? They could be completely cold to your business, right? Maybe they click on an ad that they see somewhere, and then they have to go through an educational process before they say, "Oh, you know what? This is the right decision for me." And then they finally open up their wallet and pull out the credit card and give you the money. Well, that's one path. There's another path, which is maybe they come from an existing customer referral. Maybe they come from a strategic partner referral where there's already trust built in and confidence that you're going to deliver because of the trust that they had in that person who referred them. That's probably a much, much higher quality new customer for you because there's that built in trust factor. And then there's a question of the quality of new customers from different um, attraction points. Running ads on a social media platform versus where somebody is not in buying mode, right? Run ads on Google or YouTube where somebody is typing in a buyer intent search, right? Where do I find this? How do I get to this? What's the best price on? And that's suggesting that they're in market to actually purchase something, right? Versus somebody who is solicited by direct mail, let's say, and the quality of the person who comes from that channel, right? There are all different qualitative metrics when it comes to where you initially engage someone. In fact, I'll give you, a consistent statistic about direct mail, for example, is that you get much, much higher quality, much more committed and longer term and higher dollar value buyers from direct mail than you typically will get from digital sources online. Now, it's not always the truth, or it's not always going to be the way it's going to play out, but overall, that is a path where you're likely to find much higher value folks. All right, we're not going to go too much longer here because I I can't talk solo for too long without wanting to have a little bit of pushback and question and answer and all of that. And so, what I'm going to do is suggest that if you are sort of thinking more broadly about what marketing means to you and understand the importance of that question that I ask in response to, you know, somebody's inquiry, when I say it depends, and then I'll ask them a question, are you trying to do this? Are you trying to do that? If you appreciate the value and the importance of that, I want to suggest that you grab a copy of our latest book. It's called The Prepared Marketing System. It's a short read, should take about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how quickly you read. And it walks you through the idea that there can be a systematic approach to thinking through all of this and figuring out how you reduce the time, the money, the resources that you're investing in, and instead find a way to systematically create consistent and predictable revenue in your business. Again, it's called The Prepared Marketing System. You can grab it on Amazon if you want the physical version, or you can head over to thepreparedgroup.com/book and request a free PDF copy of it. All right, I think that's it for this week's live stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, either live or in the replay, and I look forward to seeing you back on another episode of More Perfect Marketing real soon. All right, take care.